Hello and welcome to Stories, the True and the Fictional, the indie author podcast supporting indie authors from all around the world. This episode is brought to you by Rebecca Kearsells of the Rising Dawn series and Martin Crumbs of the Valor of Valhalla series. You too can become a sponsor by heading on over to buymeacoffee.com/STTATF or follow the link in the show notes. And now, let's get into the show. Warning. Listening to this episode may cause your TBRs to grow in size. Hello guys and welcome to another episode of Stories, the True and the Fictional, the indie author podcast supporting indie authors from all around the world. I am one of your hosts, J.A. Bryden. With me always is our resident reader, Ryan. How are we going, Triple R?
Living the dream, my friend. Yeah, man, just trying to make way through my TBR and living life on this long weekend out here in Australia. Yeah, not much has changed since we interviewed 2 days ago, so I'm just going to leave it at that.
Really? But you were like a minute late to this interview, Ryan, because you were playing a game and you couldn't save it.
I was. It's one of my favorites back when I was growing up. I loved there's a series of games called Wild Arms. They're JRPGs. All four of them, thankfully, are now available on the PlayStation Network. Number 4 came available a couple of days ago. So, yeah, but because it is a PS2 emulation on the PlayStation, you actually have to find a save point. And it doesn't auto-save every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was well. I was looking up a watch. I'm like, come on, and then I finally found the save point, and then I had to fight a boss before the save point. I'm like, oh. But yes, I'm loving playing those games again, man.
That's awesome. Well, guys, look, we're about to dive into an episode with Brian Holshouser. I always feel like I'm saying his name wrong, but he says I said it right. So this was a long one. It was a great one. How'd you think it went, Ryan?
Yep. I think it went really well. You know, we have a lot in common, so we had a lot to talk about. You know, we talk video games, we talk fantasy, we talk, you know, old TV shows we used to watch when we were a kid. Great dude, and I'm looking forward to diving into his books in the near future.
Yeah, very talented guy. He does his own covers, which is they're phenomenal, and you know, they're really good covers. But yeah. Before we dive in, remember to check out our sponsors, Rebecca Kearsells, Martin Crumbs, our honorary sponsors, Janelle Schiecke and Alexander Robb. All their links are down below. If you guys want to reach out, thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com, please join our Discord. We've got a great community growing there. Just hit us up, we'll give you the link. And we have some new merch available if you want to drink out of a Stories, the True and the Fictional mug with a Dropbear on it. Check it out. Links below. But without further ado, let's go talk to Brian. Brian Holshouser. I hope I said that right. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, you nailed it, man. Hey, it's nice to be here, guys.
I was going to make a joke about like it's not just half a houser, it's a whole houser.
Oh, I like that. You're the first person to come up with that.
Well, it's too late. It's recorded now. It's done. It's in there. I have the power. I have the editing. How are you going, Brian?
Good. I'm doing good. Really honored to be here. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, no, we're glad to have you. So the question we always ask is, who is Brian Holshouser?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Watch and find out.
Watch and find out. I'm a young adult fantasy author from Oklahoma, United States. I published my first book last year in March. I hit the 2-book milestone in 1 year, and actually I ended up on a anthology for the Fosha. I don't know if anyone knows what that is, but I had a piece in there. So I got published 3 times last year, which kind of blew my mind. Did not expect that. I love music, good music, play video games. Fantasy's been a genre of mine since I was a wee bitty one. Just try to be positive, stay positive, have a good life. That's me.
Cool.
I like it. Well, I'm gonna ask a question. Seeing as you mentioned video games, what's your favorite video game that you've ever played.
Ever?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Okay, so I'm gonna throw out the Ocarina of Time's probably either
Yeah.
that or Final Fantasy 8 or 7. I'm gonna say 7, sorry. I think Final Fantasy 7 and Ocarina of Time were the two that peaked in my video gaming. Now, I will say, like, I'm wearing a World of Warcraft shirt. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But like, I played World of Warcraft for like years, sank hundreds and hundreds of hours into that. Um, I hit Diablo, StarCraft, Warcraft. Um, a lot of the classics that people, grew up in my age, they played. So it's not like I stuck with one video game, but the peaks, the big highlights, man, I just always go back and say the Ocarina of Time was like, I didn't know it at the time, but man, that was the life. Really was.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get along quite well because I'm a massive RPG guy, massive JRPG. I'm into a lot of JRPGs at the moment, but Ocarina of Time, man, playing that on the Nintendo 64, back in the day, I had I think that was the one that came with the gold cartridge, the gold colored
Yes.
cartridge. And I think Majora's Mask was like a purpley color. But yeah, Ocarina of Time, fantastic. Final Fantasy VII was my first ever role-playing game, and I fell in love with it straight away. I played it multiple times, played the remaster. Oh, sorry, the remaster, yes, and then the remake, and I love those as well. StarCraft, Warcraft, I grew up on. Me and my dad, we both love those. Um,
Really? My
yeah,
dad and I
so
played that too.
definitely,
That's so cool.
yeah. I think it came out at a time where if you're someone in your family, like your dad or your mum or whoever, or your uncle, whatever, was into gaming, it was right on, because my dad he started on Warcraft, went to Command and Conquer, went to Age of Empires, and then StarCraft. And he was into those kind of games, and he kind of got me into those games as well. Because they weren't my go-to, but I fell in love with Warcraft. I never played World of Warcraft because I'm not a massive online gamer, but Warcraft, Warcraft 2, Warcraft 3, StarCraft 2, so many good memories.
Yeah. Oh, I was early BattleNet, StarCraft, and I played Warcraft 1 briefly, but
Mm-hmm.
not as much as like I wasn't the Warcraft 1 guy. I was definitely Warcraft 2 into StarCraft.
Mm-hmm.
So we hit the same genre base on our video gaming. Totally. Love that
100%.
era. Loved
Oh,
it. It was a
definitely.
golden
And
age for games, man.
it really was. And, I'm so glad that a lot of the, PlayStation, Nintendo, because I've got a PS5 and a Switch too. And I'm loving, we finally got, the PS Plus gallery over here a couple of years ago, and just reliving all those games. Like the game I was playing this morning, which I couldn't get to a save point because it's a game that came out on the PS2 that just got uploaded to the game. It's called Wild Arms 4. I absolutely love the Wild Arms series, and it takes me back to going, crap, it doesn't autosave every 5 seconds, so I can't just turn the PlayStation off. I have to get to a save point.
That's
Back
funny.
nowadays, everything we all play, like it's autosave here, autosave. Every time you go into a new town or a new area, it's autosave. So if you can turn it off whenever,
Yeah,
but yeah, you couldn't do that back in the day.
No.
that's awesome.
It's when
How
I when
fun.
I, I went back and played Sonic the Hedgehog 1 or 2 or whatever it is, and it's 10 levels. Like that's it. I'm just like, that's it, it's
Yeah,
over. Is it over?
Sonic.
yeah,
Remember Sonic Pinball?
Yeah.
That game
oh
got me
yeah,
good. I'm so addicted to that.
But I really loved Sonic and Knuckles because
yeah,
Yeah.
it you could put Sonic and Knuckles in, and then you could open up the cartridge, and then you could put Sonic 2 in, and then you could
yeah.
play Knuckles in Sonic
And
2,
Sonic too,
And I was
yeah.
like, that's so cool.
That's wild. I never did that. That's so wild. Oh,
But
it was a
yeah,
good time, man.
oh, it's just and what you just said, Jamie, about Sonic being like only 10 levels. You remember it being so much longer as a kid.
Yeah.
Like even just playing Wild Arms 4, I haven't played since I was like 15, 16 years old, and I was like, man, I'm gonna start playing now. I only had an hour this morning to play. And I'm like, man, I'm going to start playing now, but it's going to take forever to get through the intro. 15 minutes later, I'm already into the second section of, after the intro. I'm like, man, that felt so much longer when I was younger.
Huh.
It's just, it feels, yeah, it's weird.
I think one day I'll
But
go
anyway,
back and I'll play some more like Warcraft 3 and stuff again, just because I haven't done it in
yeah.
probably 10 years. I kind of miss it. I got two kids now, so
Oh,
it's harder to game. But
yeah. That's right. I'm lucky. I have two kids, but they're animals. They're cats. So I don't have to like all I have to do is feed them and show them some affection sometimes. So I can play a lot of video games. But yeah, it's Warcraft 3 I revisit probably once every 2 to 3 years. Like it's such a good story. Um,
yeah,
and it's such a massive upgrade from Warcraft 2. It's jumped more into the RPG style rather than just being straight out strategy. So
yeah,
yeah, it's definitely worth a replay. The only issue I had is pretty much every laptop you have now doesn't come with a disk drive. So you have to kind of go out
yeah.
searching for a disk drive because I've still got the game on disk.
Yeah.
I think my discs are
But yeah,
broken. I don't think I have those anymore.
no, I've got a new laptop like 2 years ago. It's got a million USB ports and HDMI's and all this kind of stuff, but no disk drive. I had to go out and try and find a disk drive, which is very hard to find over here at the moment. So
That's wild. Can you not
Yeah.
download it? I thought BattleNet or whatever had you. Like I thought they had an archive you could download it. Maybe I'm wrong on that. It's been a long time.
look,
So
possibly it could have been, but maybe I just didn't really look into that. I'm like, I have the disc, and my backwards head is like, I'm not paying again for it, but I went and spent $60 on a
Just
portable disk drive,
God,
which I could have, got it.
oh, that's terrible.
I yeah. I mean, I do a lot of like I use Steam a hell of a lot as well. Like I've got tons and tons of games on Steam since I got a gaming laptop, but. Yeah, I didn't think of that. I probably should have. Would have saved me $60, but whatever.
for more
Yeah,
tips
I
with
don't know.
Brian, please follow him on X.
I'm curious. You said you bought my books. I wanted to ask you something. So I was scrolling through Google looking at my books. They're available in different countries, and I didn't think about this until just
Yep.
now. My book's like 450,000 Korean dollars, whatever that is. And I was like, whoa, dude, like what? Like I saw that price. I'm like, what is it in other countries? Like what's a normal book cost
Yeah.
to you guys over there? Like
Um,
for like my
well, for
paperbacks.
me, for me digitally, I always say this with indie authors. Like, I'm always happy to support. Doesn't matter how much it costs. Like, if it's whatever. But for all the
450
indie
grand
authors
you're good.
over,
Hold on, let me bump the price up for you. Go ahead, I'm
we've
sorry.
reviewed over the years, I pretty much bought every single book. So I generally
Yeah.
pay between, like your books were $4.25 Australian
Oh, okay. That's
for
that's pretty normal then.
the ebook, and that's generally they're between $4 and $7 for most indie books that I buy digitally.
Okay.
I used to buy them on Kindle Unlimited, but I used to have Kindle Unlimited, but I kind of got rid of that because I'm finding that I'm getting, 4 chapters into the book on Kindle Unlimited. I'm just buying it anyway to support the
Oh,
author
really?
more.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so generally most indie books are, yeah, between $4 and $7. I haven't paid more than $10 for an indie book.
And
Okay.
because
That's pretty normal.
I'm a hard copy person, and I did buy Gwyn's Kingdom.
I say that.
Um, that did happen, and it was like 23 Australian dollars, which I just looked it up is $16 US.
Okay. That's still a little bit more than I thought it would be, but
Yeah.
it's not 400. It's
Well,
not 400 grand.
no,
So
well, our Australian um like our printing, we have extra taxes on printing, so everything's more expensive because it's, to
is it the
print.
Kiwi? Is that what your dollar's called? I forgot.
Uh,
I think it's Kiwi.
Australian dollar, or
Is it,
there was
is
once
it
there
Australian dollar?
was Australian dollar, but there was once a petition to change
Oh.
it to dollary dues. Um,
Oh, okay. Okay. That's okay.
that was a
Gotcha.
legitimate thing, you know.
Once upon a time, I kind of looked at Forex trading, and I remember some of the different. They had different terms for all the different dollars. I was like, One of them was a Kiwi. I can't remember which one it was. It may have been New Zealand,
Yeah.
but now I'm trying to remember.
I
That's
can
cool.
find out.
It's not 400
Yeah,
grand.
it's not. It's
That's what
not. Yeah, they're not overly expensive. I mean, in my defense, like my house that we moved to about a year ago is a lot smaller, so I can't really buy too many physical books because I just don't have the room. But when
Yeah.
I did buy physical books, generally maximum like $20, I think. $20 for a paperback, which is not bad. I don't drink coffee or anything like that, so I'm saving money there. So it's and I don't mind spending money on things I love. It's something I'd rather spend $20 or, 5 to $10 on a book that I'll have forever and I can reread over and over and over again
Yep.
than, spend bloody $7 on an energy drink that will last me like half an hour.
Yeah.
True.
I looked it up. The New Zealand dollar is called the Kiwi dollar.
It is. Oh,
Really?
I'm
Oh,
sorry. I didn't
Yeah.
wow.
confuse you guys.
It's always a Kiwi. Fun fact. There you go. For more fun facts with me, no, don't. Don't follow me. My fun facts are weird. Um, let's get
That's
these
awesome.
icebreakers going. What do you say? We'll be here for hours.
Yeah, let's
Sorry
do it.
about that diversion. I just thought I like to meet other gamers and
Yeah.
especially around the same age as us, and I generally find that we all kind of grow up on the same games, which is good.
Totally. Totally. Yeah, let's jump into it, guys.
All right. So the first question is a new question. Who is your
Mhm.
favorite dynamic duo? For example,
Oh,
Batman and Robin. I've got to say that because Ryan will be offended if I don't say Batman and Robin. Rick and Morty, Laurel and Hardy for all you old people. And it could be from anything, movies, literary. Um,
okay, so I did actually think about this one. I have two answers because I was gonna do an indie answer and I was like I shifted my answer. I was gonna say I really like Grimm and Vidge from Relentless Blades. I don't know if you guys have read that book yet.
Mhm.
it's
Say
on
like
my
Yeah,
it's
the
on
I
my
have.
answer.
shelf. It's on my shelf. I haven't
Yeah.
read it yet though.
Okay. I think I have it somewhere over here.
I
Um,
read that after we interviewed
Russell Carroll.
Russell
Yeah.
Carroll, yeah,
I like that.
and
Okay,
I bought the second one straight away. It's such a good book.
it was a great book. I was gonna say them, but I was like, okay, I can't do all indie answers and all this, so I scrapped that. So I was gonna say, I think my favorite duo. I want different on this. I'm a big comedy guy. Have you ever watched Mystery Science Theater, the show? Do
Yeah, long
you remember the
time ago.
robots, Crow and Tom Servo? I'm gonna say those are my
Mhm.
favorite, just because I was gonna be completely different on this one. I
Yeah.
could go like Frodo and Sam, Batman and Robin, but I'm gonna say Crow and Tom Servo because that highlights so much of my like childhood growing up watching that show.
Yeah.
I remember watching that after school. I think that was because I was I still am massive nerd, and I used to love watching that in the afternoon. It used to be on my. We used to have cartoons from I think like 4 o'clock through till 5:30, 6 o'clock, and that was not a cartoon, but it was the first show on the docket. So yeah, 100%. I can agree with that.
That was a fun time, man. I love that show.
Definitely, definitely. All right. Question number two is: what is something that's on your bucket list?
Bucket list. So, man, I have a big bucket list. I really want to get a pilot's license and fly. Like I love to go up in the air. My uncle, he flies a plane. I proposed to my wife looking at Christmas lights in a plane. That's a big thing on
Wow.
my bucket list eventually. Um, I want to travel. I want to go to Australia, New Zealand, see the Lord of the Rings sites. I think it'd be cool
Mhm.
to, go to Jerusalem, see all the places Jesus went.
Yeah.
Europe, travel around there, check out everything. I think all that, it kind of ties in. I think it'd be really cool to fly it. That's like, kind of hard.
Yeah.
But I really love to travel and I love to fly. Those are big on my bucket list. So those are those are my
Nice.
answer.
Cool.
Awesome.
And there's a lot of similar things between Jerusalem and Australia. If you go there, things will try to kill you, probably.
Right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All
Not
right.
not that I want to be like
No.
in a place that's deadly. I think
No.
it'd be really cool to like
Well,
see the Sea of Galilee and
there's a lot of
go
history
to
there.
yeah, the Mount of Olives, like everything you read about, like if you read the Bible, it's all in there, and I think that's really cool personally. So for
Yeah.
me,
And
I'd
apparently
love to
like
actually.
it's apparently like it really hits. hits you if you're there. Like it brings everything to
Yeah.
life. You're just like,
Yeah, I've had a few friends who've gone over the years just a couple of them weren't they weren't Christians or anything. They just went and they knew the stories and they like you said, it changes you just to like realize that these are actual places, that you can
yeah,
actually go visit and thousands of years ago it was being written about. I don't know, to me that would be really cool to actually
yeah.
kind of bring that into my world as a reality. So that's a big one on my bucket list. But like you said, man, there's never like that safe time to go. So
Well, you never know. It's a gamble. It's a gamble.
yeah, it is. And I have a wife and kids. I wanted to bring them, but
Yeah.
that's another like, you're out in the desert. So I don't know. We'll figure it out one day.
Yep. That's it. All right. Question number 3. Let's bring up the visual aid.
What's
Ta-da.
this one?
Are you familiar with Mount Rushmore at all?
No, well, I have been there.
No, but and this isn't a name the president's question. It is if you could make your own Mount Rushmore of TV shows,
Okay,
what would
okay.
you put
TV
up there?
shows.
Four TV shows
Oh,
that you put up on your Mount Rushmore.
TV shows, like the whole show? Oh man, okay. Let me think here. I'm gonna do The Simpsons. I love The
Yeah.
Simpsons. I watched that
Okay.
stuff really
Yeah.
little. That was a good one. Let me think here. One show that it's a comedy show that I used to watch. Man, I watched every episode 1,000 times. It's called Third Rock from the Sun,
Hmm.
The
Yep.
Solomons. I don't know if you guys ever seen that. I love that show so much.
Yeah.
Another one I put up there is News Radio, another 90s comedy. Uh, it's kind of where
It
Joe Rogan got
sounds
to start, if you know what that is. What's that?
sounds very familiar. I don't think I've ever watched that one, but it does sound very, very familiar.
It was a huge, kind of a rocket platform for Joe Rogan, as well
Okay.
as Phil Hartman. Phil Hartman died while he was making the show. So, and even Andy Dick and a few other big stars that came off of that show. Andy Dick kind of fell off, but the others, they did really well, I think, after, especially, Joe Rogan. But like,
Hmm.
yeah, like that was one of those shows that in the 90s, it was like a lot of people overlooked it. They're in a radio station,
Yeah.
so it's just a different kind of feel and atmosphere. But if you ever work like around other people in an office, it has a really good fun vibe. It's probably like pre-office humor. So
Mm.
Okay.
uh, it was a show I really liked. Funny, really funny. Um, Trying to think here. Other shows that really hit hard. Can I do a movie? Is
I
it
say
like can I cheat?
you can cheat, but is it a series of movies? Because I think that's the way you get away
Yeah.
with it. If
Okay.
you're in a
I got
series
to
of
put this one on
movies,
there then. I got to put this one on there then. You'll know what this is. So,
Lord of the
Hmm.
Rings.
Lord of the Rings. I mean,
I'll
that one to
allow
me.
it. I mean, it's Lord of the Rings. I'll allow it.
Yeah, Tolkien, C.S. Lewis, those are, huge
As
inspirations
long
of
as it's
mine.
not The Hobbit or Rings of Power, you're safe.
Definitely, no, we don't have to go there, but but no, it's not
Yeah.
those. I
No.
guarantee it. Not that I,
I
not that I
yeah.
hate The Hobbit. I'm not. I don't know. It didn't hit like the Lord of the Rings.
No,
They did the
well,
stray away thing, and I don't know. It's okay. It's not a bad movie.
we talked about this with we have a friend who's a filmmaker, Matthew Holmes, who's been on quite a few times. And he was saying it's like the whole how Lord of the Rings was Peter Jackson's passion project, and he went out and he got it made, and then the studio was like, "Do this." So when it
Ah,
comes from the studio, it's always going to be crap, but when it comes from passion, it's always going to be great, and that's the problem. The studio was like, "Give us 3 more." When I reckon
yeah.
they could have done one. If they did
It
one
was one. It
Hobbit
was.
movie,
Yeah.
it probably would have been
It's
good.
a one movie book. You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's what they should have done, and they stretched it really thin to
yeah,
do the three thing. And I don't know. You nailed it, buddy. I think it was
Yeah.
a
No,
passion project for the Lord, and then
definitely. Me and my wife are starting our bi-yearly Lord of the Rings watch today. I'm so happy on Prime they have the normal version and the extended version. So
do they
because
really?
as a true fantasy fan, you never watch the standard edition. You always watch the extended edition. So yeah, keen to get back into that. But what you're saying about the Hobbit is true. I mean, I've got the physical books of Lord of the Rings, and each one of them is probably about that thick. And the Hobbit book is
Yeah.
probably about that thick, and there's only one. and technically, yes, they did put the Silmarillion, a little bit of the Silmarillion into the movie, but still, you could have done it in one movie. I
Yeah.
100% agree.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's sad that they use creative, whatever you would call it, to fill in some gaps and stretch
Mhm.
it out. And that's where you get in trouble is you start because at that point you're not using source material, you're making the
No.
material, and
Yeah.
it's no
Yeah.
longer a fan movie, it's you creating something on top of something else. And so I think a lot of our newer movies they fail because they don't realize that's where things go wrong.
Yeah.
People
Mhm.
want the source material to be the star, the
Yeah.
shining star,
Yep.
you know? So I totally agree. I don't think we're gonna agree less on this one.
And me and Jamie being massive comic book fans, we definitely know where they take liberties with the source material, aka Iron Man 3. But we're not going to talk about
Yes.
that. But
So,
yeah, like I'm the sucker. Like Jamie will agree to this. I have been to see or watched because I was in hospital for a lot of 2024. I have seen or watched every single Marvel movie that's come out, including the bad ones.
really?
I'm a completionist, and because the Infinity Saga was so great, that 22 or 23 movies in that series is, aside from two, were amazing.
Yeah.
And I kept watching, and you know what, Spider-Man: No Way Home, fantastic. So I'm like, okay, and then they just brought out a whole bunch of really bad movies, which again feel like what was done with The Hobbit. It's like the studio are like, we're making this regardless of what you think,
Yeah.
and you have to fit it in, and that's why they,
Yeah.
plummeted massively at the box office. And now Marvel are course correcting, and I must say, even though not everyone's a fan, pretty much every Marvel movie I've seen this year, I have loved. I have enjoyed. I've seen more than once. So let's hope they stick with that. But yeah, where me and Jamie are very, very used to not respecting the source material.
Good. I think it's important. I really do. I mean, I know there's a lot of movies coming out too where they're talking about just completely scrapping the source material, and it's
Yeah.
just like, man, when do you learn the lesson? Like, people
Mm-hmm.
don't like that, you know.
Yeah. They're not
I'd
gonna
like to
watch
see
your
that
movie.
kind of right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They always flop, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, does this not like have a trend already? Like somewhere, someone is analyzing this data, and that comes up on their like little spreadsheet, and they're like, nope, delete every single
Mm-hmm.
time because there's no way they don't see that data
Yeah.
linking up. But
Oh,
Oh,
it is what it is.
100%.
I don't know.
all
That's
right.
why I wish a lot more authors and a lot more writers would have more creative control
Mm,
over, their works when they transition from, the page to, TV, streaming, movies.
yeah.
Because yeah, you're right. I mean, the amount of books I've read that I've seen turned into movies, I can count on one hand the amount that have been pretty true to
Yeah,
the source material.
Yeah.
yeah, and that's a big reason I went indie is I want to have creative rights,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
you really don't go trad published without giving something up
Yeah.
in that
Mm-hmm.
realm unless they are really loose, and most are not. They want you to put certain things in there, and they want to be able to turn around one day and make a movie, a song,
Yeah.
whatever, a graphic, whatever it is. They want to be able to do it their way. And
Yeah.
so, like you
Mm-hmm.
just said, there's not a lot of them out there that use the source material to the T. They really don't.
Yeah.
And it's sad because a lot of the times what made that story great was the source material.
Yeah.
They should learn, like, oh, people loved that. Make that the movie. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That that's
Yeah.
a big, I mean, that's a big, like, easy win for them if they really wanted. But unfortunately, we live in a weird world, man. They don't care. They just want to do their thing. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. All right, my turn, and I'm going to have to consult my document for this one. All right. Okay.
hit
So
me.
Dr. Emmett Brown from the Back to the Future series leaves his DeLorean parked in your driveway. Where and when do you go?
Oh man, that's a good one. If I went back, I'd do the Renaissance. I'd love to see the medieval time period or the
Mm,
Renaissance personally, like to actually experience that and to see because we have we have a lot about it, but you go to a Ren fair, you go to anywhere, it's never like even close to what the Renaissance was. It's
Yeah,
fun, but the real Renaissance, I think, would be cool to see first person or even just, that medieval time period to go back and see how people really did live and get a raw feeling for that, just to kind of see it since I've read so many books based on that time period.
yeah,
And my books are supposed to have that feel to it. And I don't know, I think it'd be really cool to have that source firsthand. That would be a lot of fun. It'd
yeah,
be kind of terrible because you wouldn't have like modern amenities,
yeah.
but at the same time, I think it'd be a lot of fun. I don't know.
You'd have
That's
you'd
probably
have
where I'd
to
go.
you'd have to learn Middle English as well.
I, I would.
It's
There's peace. I don't even know if I can speak it. Yeah, I
well,
don't know.
I go back and hurt, and it just sounds like people are mumbling. It's like you can almost make out what they're saying, but they're going, yeah, the other day. And I'm just like,
Yeah. Oddly enough, I've read some documents and things from kind of that time period, and a lot of times you can pick up what they're saying.
yeah,
But like you just said, speaking and reading are two different things. They
yeah,
might have a completely weird colloquial accent in there that
yeah,
throws you off. So hard to know unless you were there. But
yeah,
I still think it'd be cool to
Or
see it.
yeah,
or you can just do what the old '90s and 2000s movies do, like the Musketeers. You can just go back and have a broad American accent in the middle of France. Like Keith Sutherland. Me and
yeah.
Jamie and our friends, we watch that movie a fair bit. And we joke about it. It's like,
Pick an
you've got
accent.
some actors that have done British accents, some actors that have tried to be French, and then there's Keith Sutherland, who's like, I'm just going to use my normal American voice. Um, in
It's
the
so
middle of
funny.
France, back in
Yeah,
the 1700s or
yeah.
whenever it was there. And it's just so funny to watch.
Well,
Like now they're all about like let's get accuracy and everything, but
yeah.
back then,
No, well, even like there was a really good series, the Musketeers series on the BBC, whatever. It's 3 seasons,
yeah.
brilliant show. Few things that drive me up the wall, like bringing in modern tropes, like modern day tropes back into that. But they're all English, and I'm going like, but you're supposed to be French. Like it's always been a thing. It's just like we're English, but we're speaking French, or we're French, but we're
Yeah,
speaking English.
that's
But the new
that's
movies are
funny.
actually really good because it's French by French people, and then when the
Mm.
French
That's cool.
go to meet the English are speaking English, so it's accurate.
That's cool. Yeah,
And
that's what you want.
I've only watched two of them. There's like I think there's three of them, but yeah, they're really good.
I
You
was
need
torn. I could have said 1,000 years in the future where Gwen's kingdom's based.
yeah.
See if the electric moon hits.
Yeah. Or you could go and make some stops along the way to make sure it comes to be that, you know.
There you go. Well, I
Shape
hope
it.
not. I
Shape
hope
it.
not. Like make the yeah, that'd be crazy.
All right. Okay, the last question, and this is a new question. It's a carry on. Did you ever watch a show, streaming show called Mirthquake? Did you ever know about Mirthquake? No,
I
it's
don't know what that is though.
that yeah they think his name is David Batterino, and he was only around for maybe a year or two. But it was like a live streaming, like Bald and Balding and all that stuff. It was super fun. But he had this question on there, and one of our members in our Discord, Sam Robb, suggested that we carry on the question from Earthquake.
Okay,
I didn't even ask him if we could do this, but
you just did it.
but we're just doing it anyway. And we are
All
keeping a
right.
tally. So the question
Okay.
is, hot air balloon or janky sub? So would you rather fly in a homemade hot air balloon way up in the sky, or a homemade submarine way down in the ocean depths?
Uh, I was an aircraft mechanic, and I know quite a bit about aircraft mechanicry, like machinery. I could probably get the aircraft to at least fly. I don't know how homemade we're talking, but I feel way more comfortable in the air than I would trying to figure out a submarine because there's a lot of moving parts on a submarine. I would think that would be janky.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, you could fly pretty easily. I don't know how many balloons we're talking or what we're talking on the aircraft, but I know a little about aerodynamics and how to get something to rise and fall without it filling up with the water. So I'd say probably the hot air balloon.
there you
That's
go.
my safer.
There
That's
you
my
go.
safer.
It's a draw. It's a draw. So far we have one for hot air balloon and one for janky sub. So,
Oh my God, who said the sub?
Joel Nadecki,
That's terrifying.
well, yeah,
I
well,
couldn't imagine.
I think it's when you think about it, it's all about, how would you like to go? Falling to your death
Yeah, pretty
or
much.
instant crush.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
but if
That's
you,
yeah. If you're,
you know what you're doing about the, up there, so you'll be right.
I have a little bit of a shot with the air balloon. I don't have
Yeah,
anything with the submarine's gonna kill me.
that's it. Fair enough.
I'm dead. There's no like fighting that one.
All right, cool. Well, there you go. Icebreakers are done.
Mhm.
Awesome. Those are fun. Thanks,
There you
guys.
go.
All right,
Cool.
I'm out of here. Bye.
Yeah, and thanks everyone on the Discord for pitching in some questions. So, hot air balloon came from Sam Robb, and favorite
Thanks, Sam.
dynamic duo came from Trinity Cunningham. So,
Okay.
um,
Thank you, Trinity.
that's some
Those are
good
fun.
stuff. Now,
They made me think
She's
too.
got a new book out as well. I think I bought it last night.
yeah, it's the third in her trilogy.
Yeah, I picked it
Oh,
up
really?
last night. Very, very good. So I read the first one. Absolutely love it. So I was like, I'm gonna jump on that. So
Yeah, cool.
Nice. What's it called? Is it a name?
I'll
Inherent
have to
Bound, Inherent Bound.
bound. They all got bound in the title.
Yeah,
Bound. Okay.
I that's what I love about the Kindle app. I'm just bringing it up now. If you can't see me, that's okay. The Kindle app lets me know when a new book in a series is available, and then I can click on the link and it takes me straight there. So her first book is Bloodbound, her second book is Unbound, and the third book that's just come out is Inherent Bound. So yes, you were right,
Okay.
Jamie.
and her fourth book will be called Homeward Bound. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh, that was a heartstring pulling movie when I was little. I
Oh,
love that movie.
it still is now. Come on, Michael J.
Yeah,
Fox and
yeah.
other people.
It's a classic. Oh
It
yeah.
is.
But
That's good. Yeah.
you know what? Michael J. Fox has actually showed up in a fair few episodes of the new season of Shrinking.
Yeah,
So
no,
thanks to
yeah,
Bill Lawrence, he's Michael J. Fox is doing well.
yeah.
Awesome.
Because he was in Scrubs as well way back when. So
He was,
yeah.
yes, he was.
Um,
That's really cool.
Bill Lawrence can pull all the A-listers anyway.
Oh yeah, 100%. He can also pull a grown man to tears, as I found out watching episode 8 the other night.
From Scrubs,
The
yeah.
episode, because our friend Chris did warn me that it was quite emotional, and I'm like, Scrubs always is. It's Bill Lawrence, he can make you laugh and make you cry. So I thought I'd be safe. But yeah, there's a scene like pretty much the last 10 minutes of that show. I was literally just
Really?
bawling. Yeah, because I recently, about 3 weeks ago, my dad passed away after a long battle with pancreatic cancer. So
Oh my
it's
God.
in the
Sorry to hear that.
essential vibe of that. So yeah, look, Bill Lawrence, and you know what? I'm okay with Bill Lawrence making me cry because I'm a massive supporter of him, and that's what he does. And it was
Yeah.
such a good, heartfelt moment for Scrub fans, and yeah. But yeah, I'm not trying to promote the new series or anything, but it's good.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the new ones yet. I used to watch the old ones. In fact, JD and Turk, that's a good dynamic duo right there.
Yeah.
Yes,
I've seen the new ones though, so don't run it. But man, I'm sorry to hear about your dad. That sucks. But I'm glad to hear that the
uh,
new Scrubs is hitting though. That's good to know. I haven't watched it
it
yet.
is.
It's kind of on my bucket list. So
It is, and I always say that the original series of Scrubs, the Brendan Fraser episode, is the most heartbreaking
yes,
moment in TV history. And you know what? I still watch that. I've
Yeah.
watched it, I think, like 5 times. But yeah, like, that's what Bill Lawrence does, and the fact that he can still do it,
Yeah.
20 odd years later, is so good. So yeah, definitely worth the watch.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad you pumped me up a little bit on it. So
Yeah. I
Yeah,
feel obligated to though because look, I've only watched 2 episodes. I'm going to get back to it. I'll probably wait till the season's over and then binge it. But I wrote a soft review on X, and then
oh really?
I woke up to 35,000 views on my post and Bill Lawrence replying to it.
What, dude?
So
That's awesome.
and I'm
Oh,
like,
I think I remember that. I
oh
remember
my,
that. I remember seeing that.
yeah. I'm just like, And it was just like
That's
I didn't
awesome.
like one particular thing they did. I said I don't know how I
Mhm.
feel about it. I'm not sure if I'll keep watching. And then I had all the people hating, all the people agreeing, and then Bill Lawrence going, "This is why we chose to do that." And I went, "Well, I feel obligated to watch now because you spoke to me." You know?
That is that is so cool. That's the coolest thing about social media. You know what?
Yeah,
You actually have a shot at someone like the author or artist to actually get your message and
yeah,
see it.
Mhm.
And what's weird is I have seen like celebrities and stuff hit my post before, and it always blows my mind. I'm like, is that real?
yeah,
You know, like
Mhm.
randomly, like someone big will hit you, and you just like maybe they'll just like it or something, and you just be
yeah,
like, huh. You know, you never even like that doesn't even seem conceivable to a
yeah.
90s, 80s, 90s kid like me, you know? That's so out of my realm of possibility. So I don't know, it just always feels like it's surreal. It's like being on this show. I watch you guys on
Yeah.
this podcast all the time. I don't feel like it's like I feel like out of place being the guest. Like, oh, I'm a fanboy.
No, I totally agree with that. Like when I'm only recently new to X, so it's really good to interact with all the authors that we talk to on the podcast. Not we don't just talk to them once. I get to talk to them all the time. But I remember a very very long time ago when it was still Twitter and I was on it for a little bit. I would reach out to comic book writers and tell them how much I really loved the latest issue of what they wrote, and they would reply back 100%, like within a couple of hours, and I would fangirl, fanboy out massively. It's just, it's just
Can you
they're
guys
the,
see or
the
hear me?
they're the wholesome, the wholesome moments.
Can you guys
I
still see me? It says something went wrong. It says it locked up and reset my browser.
I can see you. We can see you.
No, well,
Yeah.
we can see you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'll just live with it then. I can't see you guys, but it's kind of weird. I have no idea what
How many
happened.
fingers am I holding up?
Yeah, that many.
That many. Good answer. Good answer. Um, look, let's dive into the fun stuff. So since Ryan just spoke about comic books and stuff, what
Okay.
is your author origin story?
Mm, it's a long one. If I went all the way back and told the story from the very beginning, my I guess my mom used to read to us when I was a really, really little kid. And we're talking like Little House on the Prairie, Berenstain Bears, growing up with like a variety of, the old classic books.
Mhm.
And that stuck with me. But then my dad started putting us into his own like little fantastic tales where, he'd have like rock people around the lake, like fun little scary nitpicky stories or fantasies. And he would put us in the kids. I had five sisters and a brother, and he would put us into the story, and he'd change our name to like a backwards version of our name. So I was like Trey Nayerb, Brian Robert. And so Trey Nayerb would be in the story, but I knew it was me. And so like it was fun to like experience that from, different levels when I was growing up. And there's a magic when you're in another world like that and someone's telling it with a passion and they're really, they're pulling you into that immersion. And
Hmm.
there's something about it that just sticks with you, especially as a kid. And so when I grew up
Yeah.
a little older, comics, Spider-Man was huge in my life. Music's always been huge. Like when I was 11, my dad taught me how to play guitar, and I started writing even before that. I started writing music, and I was in probably four or five bands, throughout my youth. Always read Peter Pan, some Charles Dickens, Harry Potter, Narnia, different books. Lord of the Rings, of course. Hobbit was a huge one. And
Mhm.
so I really focused hard on music because I thought, I could sing, I could play music. I loved doing that. It was a fun, passionate thing for me to do. We had bands that were on the radio locally. I wrote hundreds of, probably 100 something songs. Real fun project. And then about 2009 or 10, right about the same time my grandma passed away, our drummer in the current band I was in decided he was going to date our guitarist's ex-girlfriend, and it didn't take long before the band was gone. And so I remember I did have a couple of side projects still in my bands, but I remember at that time I was thinking I have to do something either solo, music wise, which I didn't really want to do. I could still do that for fun, but I wanted to write, I've always loved reading. And so backing all the way to the childhood memories of being read stories and told stories and everything, I thought, man, I want to give this a shot. And so about 2012, I started writing these stories. In fact, I have the old one of my first old books that I started writing about Gwen. And don't get me wrong, it started off with a male protagonist. I was projecting my own character into it too much, and I hated it. And so
Hmm.
like I hated the first several things I came up with. And then one day I was like, you know what? I love Avatar: The Last Airbender. I love all these things. I started thinking about the story
Yep.
the way I wanted it to be, and I started world building, and I changed my protagonist to a female. And there's something about that in my head that clicked. Growing up with five sisters,
Hmm.
just being around girls a lot, I kind of knew some really strong, powerful women in my life, and it just felt like, you know what? I don't see any stories like that at the time, and there weren't like a whole lot other than, Katniss, maybe, I guess, from Hunger Games is just starting to get big, which I didn't feel like she had much character personally. I
Mm.
probably offend some people, but I felt like she was a dry character. She wasn't done like really well. So I gave that a shot, and it just kind of wrote out so easily and fun that it just grew and grew and grew. And then I don't know, I found a voice, so to speak, when I was writing. And so over like 7 or 8 years, I had almost 3 books worth of material, maybe more. And I had all these stories that were branching off and becoming a big world. And I was like, I have to eventually do something. And in
Hmm.
2024, yeah, 2024, I worked for the government for 14 years here in the US. I worked for the Air Force, and I was kind of getting to a point where I wanted to try something different. I wanted to be more entrepreneurial. I wanted to do something with all this material I'd written. And I went ahead and said, okay, I'm going to give it a real shot. I want to put it out there. I want to see if the world accepts it. I have a few betas that have read it, not a lot, but enough
Hmm.
that they're telling me to they're saying put this out there. This is good. It's worth selling on the internet. It's worth going out or on KDP. It's worth going to shows and signings, doing it. And I said, if I do it, I'm not going to do it like with just half my heart. I'm going to put my whole heart into it. I want to really try. So I spent a year editing or ish, and then eventually published it. And I found out I had to cut it way down, which is like for a YA story, a 7,000 page book is not going to work. So I had to cut it way down, got it down to about 300 and something, and ended up getting it edited, threw it out there, so see what people. Honestly, I just tried to get it out there. People say
Hmm.
it's good, and you never really know, but I got a lot of positive feedback. A lot of people saying it's good. I ended up trimming out another part of that story as I found something out. I went to signings and things, and I found out that kids don't read as much as they used to read when I was a kid,
Mm.
and a lot of them have an attention span problem with, scrolling on TikTok and everything else. And so I was like, man, I would love to have like a shorter book to sell these kids to draw them into reading. And that was where I kind of started thinking about putting a novella out. And that's where I was like, okay, Nakiri happens later in Gwen's Kingdom, but I could pull this out, expand the world a lot, enough that it would feel like its own story and maybe actually because there's a lot in there, and then put that on its own thing, and then eventually have those two stories arc together, down the road because they do. That's how it was written originally. So I did that, and then I've kind of pivoted now, and I'm even thinking I'm going to probably split these books up as well and offer them, still as full books, but also offer them as like volumes, 1 and 2, and
Hmm.
so as I've learned, that's where my journey has gone and been and came to so far as a young adult fantasy author. um, Anything I'm missing in between, feel free to poke me with a question.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm missing a bunch,
Awesome.
but
No, that's cool.
That's awesome. I love how you were able to, realize, um, that, yeah, you are 100% right. People, young people now who are generally reading in the YA genre,
yeah,
yeah, you're right. They don't have. I started on Stephen King. Like the first few books I read were It and The Stand, and they're 1,000+ pages, and that was fine back then. But now we've got all these
yeah,
devices and, like you said, attention span. So it's great that you're able to realize that and come up with a solution to adapt to that crowd. So you've still got the full book for people like me and Jamie and that will happily sit through. I read books of 500 to 1,000 pages, but you've broken it down for those YA readers who just want something small to start on, and if they like it, then they can go for the next volume. So I really like that.
yeah. That was a big goal, and to also I wanted Nakiri, I wanted it to be fast and punchy and just super engaging. and just like high action, and it's so like young readers who are used to that instant dopamine hit. I wanted that to happen with the book because when you finish a book, you know that feeling. You're like, even if the book's
Yeah.
not that great, you're like, heck yeah, I finished a book.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's such a dopamine hit. And I just don't see it. Like there's a lot of young people that don't even read, like they don't ever have a book that they can say they've read unless it was
Yeah.
for a like a book report, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think the first book I remember reading, like a full chapter book, was what maybe like Moby Dick, you know?
Mm.
This was a pretty thick book, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
I'd like to say I'm contributing to society getting back into reading,
Yeah.
getting, what's the right term? When you get lost in a world, when your escapism is in there,
Yep.
Yeah.
I wanna have a hand in getting back to that, especially with the youth, and not have it like just be so agenda driven, just have it be fun,
Yeah.
clean, fun.
Mhm.
And that's the other thing too, is my stuff's clean, I don't have any spies. I've seen some YA now that I guess are dipping their toes into the more steamy, spicy scenes, and it's like I'm seeing a lot of parents that are like, "Hey, does it have that in it?" I'm like, "No, it's nothing like that."
Yeah.
And they side eye me and go, "Are you sure?" It's like,
You should put some spice in your books, but like make it like, like herbs and spices and like just like you know
there
like
is actually in this one. There's,
yeah.
there's
Yeah, like there is spice, but not the spice you think.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny you say that. I had a beta, so there's a scene in this book. My new one's coming out. It'll be coming out on the 30th of this month.
Yeah.
Um, Flame in the Emerald Shadows. There's a scene where the goblin that's in there in the beginning, he pulls out this goblin spice. It's called Glade Goblin Spice, and he chews on it, and it heightens his senses, and he offers it over. But first, it burns the crap out of his mouth.
Mm.
And so the three protagonists, the three main characters, Jack, Shelley, and Gwen, are sitting in the carriage right then. And Gwen tries it with Shelley, and Jack's like, "Oh my God, what are you guys doing?" Like, because she sees him like in pain, and he's looking at him, and they're like, "Oh my God!" But then they experience this heightened sense, like they can hear the birds clearer, and they can
No.
like sense the wind, and it's just like, "Whoa, what? This is the coolest thing ever!" And they look over at Jack, and they're like, "Hey, you should try this." He's like, "No, I saw your
No.
face." So yeah, no, it's fun. I do have spice in that book,
Yeah,
though,
there you
like
go. There you
real
go.
spice.
It's like
I can say it's spicy.
E.L. Lyon's book, which I just got. And it's like it's just like there was a lot of misconceptions because everyone thought it was like romanticy or like tree smut is the joke. But
Yep.
it's like it's not that.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Um.
I, I, it's weird. I don't know why, but I guess there's enough books. Like, I guess there's like one called Graceling, apparently, or and a few of
Mm.
them like that. And they have some scenes that apparently they describe like the spice. And so parents are really, really getting timid to just go out
Yeah.
and buy a book without
Yeah.
asking now. And
Yeah.
that's sad to me. Like, you shouldn't have to worry about a young adult book.
Yeah.
It should just be clean, That's
Yeah.
PG-13.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I
100%.
wish,
Like spice is a massive. Like I'm 44, so semi-mature adult. But I'm at that age where I can't read anything with spice in it. Like I need it to just be, which sucks because a lot of horror. Luckily the
yeah,
horror authors I've been reading, there's really not much spice at all. But when you watch a horror movie, chances are there's going to be some sexy time. But yeah, I started reading
yeah,
two authors and not saying anything bad about them at all. Rebecca Castles, I love you, but she does werewolf romance, and while the
oh yeah,
story is really good, it's a little bit too spicy for me, and even she admits that. And Also Charlotte Chaos is
Yeah.
that's a lot. Like I love the premise, angels and demons and all that, but it's just a little bit too spicy for me. But a lot of other people love them, but it's just not my cup
yeah.
of tea. So I'm glad to hear that yours are quite good, quite clean.
Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, it's not for me. Um, I'll probably never write anything other than hand holding, maybe kissing, and
Mm.
Yep.
that's going to be probably a little awkward for me to do. I don't, it's probably going to take me a week to write one scene in that realm, just because it's like, oh man, I don't want this to be weird. But
Yeah.
it's weird when you're writing teenagers though, because it's like, man, because my protagonist, she turns 15 in this book, and just even the thought, it's like, really,
Yeah.
like why would it, you know, like you feel like a
Yeah.
creep writing anything. You're
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
you know, I don't want to do that.
100%.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know. To
100%.
me, I just don't see why people are pushing that in those
No.
in the young adult. I wish they wouldn't. It does in the back end of it. It causes me a huge headache because I had a lady at the fair that we went to the other day. It was a Ren fair. She came up and she was like, "I have an 11-year-old. I don't want any spice or anything that's just even weird or no cussing." And I'm like, well,
Yeah.
there's really no cussing even in mine. So I think I say the word damn in Nakiri's Last Stand and hell in Gwen's Kingdom, and that's it. And she's like, I don't know. I said, do your due diligence. Go read my reviews. You know, read some sample chapters. Do as much homework as you can. If you don't feel comfortable, please don't buy it.
Yeah.
She came back 4 hours later at the end of the day. It was like closing, literally closing, like as I was packing up. And she goes, I'm gonna buy this book. I love it. And I'm like, what? She's like, I did my research, just like you said. I listened to even part of the audiobook. I was like, oh, cool. But I mean, you shouldn't have to vet that hard, you
Yeah.
know? Like
Mhm.
that should just be assumed. It's YA, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. To me, it kind of breaks my heart a little to know that that sentiment is even there to
Yeah.
begin with. That much of
Yeah.
a trust has been broken. And I think it's trad too. It's trad doing this. It's not
Yeah.
even the indies. It's trad. You know, they've got like I've heard. I haven't read the new what's the Hunger Games. I haven't read it, but I've
Hmm.
heard that one's another one that touched into it. And it's like, can we not make that new adult genre or something? You know, like make that a thing. Like, why are we doing that in YA? Like,
Yeah.
don't do
No,
that. It's already
100%.
hard. It's already so hard to earn
100%.
trust with parents.
Yeah.
So
No, look, it's
anyway,
100%. It's just, I think it's just, there's places for it, and Rebecca Castle's book and Charlotte Chaos's book are definitely where it's for. You know, they're definitely for mature readers. They don't, bill it as YA or anything, and they do it
yeah.
well. But it's just not my personal cup of tea.
Yeah.
But in to think that a lot of writers or traditional publishers are trying to slip that into young adult books is just disgusting, to be honest with you.
It's creepy is the word.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking because man, I do see the faces of these parents when I go to these signings, and you could tell they're heartbroken over it too because they want their kid
Yeah.
to read,
Yeah.
and so they're falling back to like the classics, you know, like
Yeah.
they don't even
Hmm.
want to trust some of the newer stuff from just the last 5 years. And so it's kind of it's sad because you want them to read, you want them to get that escapism, that love for the imagination to
Mm.
grow, and you want that, it should be there, and it shouldn't be a risk to just go buy a young adult book for them. So I
Hmm.
see it on the other end, and I already know, like you take that out of the picture, like as a problem, getting over the hump anyway, just to say, hey, this is my book, please take a chance on it. That's a lot of times that's a pretty big chance your parents are taking anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
because I'm a nobody, I'm an indie author from Luther, Oklahoma, so like, who's that dude?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's I don't need that. I don't need the spice hurdle. I
No.
already have my own hurdle.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
please don't put that in my way. I don't want to.
Yeah.
So I agree though. There's a time and place where people do it, and that's fine. That's up to them. But I I just wish it wasn't in the young adult things
Yeah.
right now. That's not where it goes.
Leave the kids alone, as they said on The Simpsons. What you think of the children?
Yeah, good luck, kid.
Yeah.
That's funny.
All right, let's dive into some of these books. I'll bring up because we've already talked about it a bit.
Hmm.
Hey, though,
Queen's
I can
Kingdom.
see stuff again on the screen. Yeah.
Can you? Wow, there you go. Awesome.
Oh no, I
So,
can't. It says, "Oops,
so
something
this
went wrong," but
is
something did change.
so this is the new one, correct? I
No,
know there was available.
this is the Electric Moon. Queen's Kingdom, the Electric Moon.
So this is my debut. That's my first one. That's my
Yeah,
debut. Is that the one you guys are looking at
Oh,
right there?
okay. Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
that's the one we're looking at. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. So that's my debut. She just turned a year old in March, so I'm proud of her. She's been a lot of fun to sell. I think I'm over 400 copies of that book alone just sold. I'm pretty happy
nice.
with where it's gone. Man, and it's weird because like my core audience is it's kids, teens, young teens are the ones who enjoy it the most. And it's hard to sell a book like this because you don't know like who's reading it or not at that age until you hear like random trickles of, oh, my kid loved this from a parent.
Yeah.
Or like today, in Sunday school, my daughter said, "Hey, one of my classmates said she's reading your book." And I'm like, she's like 10. It's
Yeah.
like, how? I don't even know where she got it. So
Mm.
those kind of things are really cool about it. But go ahead. I'm sure you got questions.
But yeah, I love the cover art on this one. And on to be honest with you, on both the ones I bought last night, they're just amazing. Did you design these yourself, or did you outsource it and get someone to create the covers for you? How did that all come about?
No, I did these covers myself.
Wow.
Um, I do art. I don't think I'm as good as you guys are saying, but I do art. I've done that since I was really my wife took art, so I always feel like she's a real artist. I'm just kind of like the imposter artist. She was in college taking art like as a graduate for a long time, and she showed me a lot. And so she got me this little Wacom bamboo tablet like in 2011, and I bought a couple programs. I had Photoshop back in the day when it was like you buy it and keep it. And then I
Mm-hmm.
lost that when I updated my computer, and so I went and I switched over to a program called Affinity, and it's kind of
Oh
like
yeah.
it's like Photoshop. It's a whole lot like Photoshop. The freer like it's buy you own it kind of thing. And then I had a couple other programs I played around with and studied and did, and so I can do some work on there that's decent. My first cover is actually this one right here. I felt like I did okay on it. Looking back, it feels a little more amateur,
All
but
right. Yeah.
I what I was doing is I was building this one in the background. I was gonna do it as like a special release, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And everyone liked it so much. They were like, dude, make that your main cover. So I was like, oh, okay. And so I did, but originally it was this cover right here. It was gonna be this. And I might break the volumes out when I do it and make this one on maybe even redo it and a little nicer, but just go back and maybe use that one again someday because people like both, but everyone said this one right here, the one with the moon and everything, just hit so much better. So I don't know, it was one of those things where when I was making it, it just came together really well and it felt like it was special. Like I don't know how to explain it. Sometimes art you struggle with it like you're writing almost, and other times it's just like you go in there and it's just like you nail the strokes, you put everything together, it just falls together, and that one did that. It just felt like it just fell together. So I don't know.
Oh, it looks great, and we've spoken with other guests on the podcast a lot. I love the protagonists with their back to us, looking out to the world, and obviously, that a lot of the books that I've bought over the last 2 years have got that in common, and I just feel like it it just makes it that much more interesting and that much more eye grabbing because you can only see the sort of the silhouette ish of the protagonist, and by looking at this cover you're like, pardon the fun, but shit's going down. So
Yeah,
it definitely drew me to the book straight away.
that's
Normally
cool.
when I find out we've got a guest on there, I jump on their Amazon page beforehand and I look at the cover. I'm like, oh yeah. But when I saw your both covers, I was like, yeah, no, I need this. So it looks, and the fact that you did it yourself is just even more impressive. That looks amazing.
Well, thank you. I feel real happy with it now. I don't know, when you look at when you're making this crap, I don't know how to explain it. Like you hate it almost. Like it's like you can't get it right, and you
Yeah.
step away for a while and you come back and you're like, oh, that's not bad. I don't know why it's
Yeah.
like that with art, but for me it is. And maybe it's the same way with you guys with writing. I don't know if you guys feel that way. But, I know that sometimes when you get too close to the project, it feels terrible, but then later you kind of like it more. So thank you. That means the world to hear that. It really does. And so you said it feels dark. That's another thing I've
Mhm.
kind of worried about, to be honest, is the first half of this book is cozy. So it's not all cozy, but I get that this is a cozy fantasy vibe for the first half, and then the second half is adventure. So I
Yep.
always worry that this cover comes off too dark, actually.
Yeah.
So
No,
I
no,
know
I wouldn't say too dark. I would say, it to me, it looks like a really good fantasy story. With some, you know, maybe some darkish qualities, but it definitely doesn't come off to me because I love horror, so I can tell you what dark is. It doesn't come
Yeah.
off of too dark at all. It draws me in. It's like we've got this protagonist. Something's up with the moon, if that is what it is, and she's like, okay, I've got some stuff to do in this book. I'm gonna do the right thing. I'm gonna try and save everyone and go from there.
Yeah, no, that definitely kind of hits. The name should also kind of throw some idea to the story. Bryden, you say you were reading it? I was, or if you haven't, that's fine. I'm just kind of curious how far.
I've read one page and I had to stop because we started recording this podcast.
Oh man, you already know the full story. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
So I don't want to spoil too much, but I will say can I throw a little bit out there?
Yeah.
Just
Please
because.
do.
Yeah.
So,
We're gonna ask you. Tell us about what the story. Tell us about the story.
Yeah. Okay. I'll kind of give an overview of it. So she's kind of a loner. I've been told. Real nice little polite kid. She starts as 8, and she's in this place called the Rusted Forest. Grows up with her grandparents. Ends up like questioning her grandparents because she doesn't have parents. She finds out her aunt and uncle have been gifting her things throughout her whole life. She finds out she belongs to a wizard world, right? Uh, 2 kingdoms, her mother and father were kings and queens. They're gone. They vanished. Poof. Her kingdoms are there, but they're kind of collapsing. And so she's kind of figuring out her place in this magical world. And she's been hidden from it for so long that no one really even knew she existed or ever heard of her. And so she was kind of this rumor that pops up in the middle of nowhere and it starts changing things. And so somewhere in the middle of the story, she gets the G blade. That's that magical sword she has. She goes to the northern kingdoms, fights a necromancer, saves a goblin princess, discovers some wood sprites, goes on a magical adventure, and the whole time she's doing it with her 2 best friends, Jack and Shelley. And so the first half you feel, a little bit cozy. She's kind of in discovery mode. She has this weird trancing ability where her mind goes and slips. Um, she ends up like being super powerful in this mode, and then it slips out, and she's really not really fully in control in that mode. And so she's like not really sure what the heck is going on. And so she goes through all this, discovers some lore. In the middle of it, she ends up going to a wizard school. It's only 2 chapters. A lot of people say it feels like Harry Potter, and I'm always cautious a little bit about saying that. I tell people it's not the school that's driving that feeling. It's the 3, like it's basically 3 kids that are hanging out, becoming wizards. I think that's where the Harry Potter comp comes from. And so yeah, there's some feels in there where you might say, okay, yeah, I get a little Harry Potter-esque feel from it, but I think overall, I think it's probably leaning more towards Narnia or even more action adventure towards the middle end, where you're going to see, you see her starting to use that blade. She'll fight some undead armies. She'll have to, fight a necromancer, like I said, and it gets a little more fun, a little more action adventure the more you get into it. And then there's some whimsical notes where, I wrote music, so I loved, putting this together in a musical way, so to speak. Like when I kind of put the scenes together. In fact, I have a I have a project board that opens up where I outlined it, and I treated it a little bit like you would orchestrate music when I made the scenes where you get these climactic, peaks and everything. So that was the way I kind of visually put sense to my scenes and drops of, payoffs and everything else in the book. And I don't know, some people say they picked up on that, which is shocking because I didn't believe it. Then 2 or 3 people said it, and I was like, okay, maybe that's a thing. And so I started promoting it a little bit like that. Hey, it's got a musical cadence to it because I built it that way. So it's I don't know, it's fun. It's going to be young adult still. It's clean, wholesome. Especially the first half, you're going to get cozy vibes. There's a lot of food descriptions. She's eating pie, she's baking, she's having fun with her friends, and then that second half you get more adventure where it gets more gritty. And then that I consider that one YA 12 because it's pretty clean, it's pretty fun. This one right here, you'll get, the second one coming out on May 30th. That one right there, it will step up a little bit, will be a little bit more gritty, but not to the point. I think 13, YA 13 is where I'm putting it at this point, unless my editor says it needs to go higher. So, but
yeah.
Do you guys have any questions? Feel free to ask.
I just brought up the cover for the sequel.
Oh, okay, awesome. I'm looking forward to it. I'll grab that when it comes out too. I was going to ask, do you have more plans for her work for Gwyn's world? And clearly you do because you've got another book coming out.
I do.
In a month.
I do.
So, yeah.
like I said, I'm gonna put them out in volumes this time because
Yeah,
I think it's easier for people to digest them. I've seen the feedback like on the Carry where it's a
yeah,
shorter read. People want to read short reads now. It's just so much easier to get in and get out. And
yeah,
so I'll offer it as a full book when it's done, so people who want that full book get that.
yeah,
But I do want to. I want to try and make it shorter. Not in Carrie's Last Stand shorter. Like this is already, I think it's up to 73,000 words, and
yeah,
so I already feel like it's getting chunky.
yeah.
But
That's good.
like yeah, I mean it's a pretty fun book. It'll have the map in the beginning.
Yeah,
Um, I've done some artwork that I'm really happy with on this one. I think people are gonna like. I think it does step up in the violence. There's a little more blood. Cussing's not there. There's no spice, something like that. But I think it did need to be updated just a little bit to where it goes to the PG-13 range for
yeah,
this one, just because like the story does get a little darker as it goes. And I mean, Bryden, you read Nick Carey's Last Stand. You saw kind of how
yeah,
more action driven that is. It does eventually have to get there, you know. So
yeah, yeah.
unfortunately, it can't stay PG-12 forever or YA-12 forever. So.
Well, hopefully the audience will grow with the series. You know, um, I know. I think it was Jessica Barberi we were talking with. She was saying like she's making some books for younger audience, so they can read that, and then when they're older, they can get into the other books. You know, which is a really cool idea.
That is cool. I like that idea a lot, actually. I think that's probably what will happen with Gwen's Kingdom because I believe it or not, there's a lot of parents that have like 8, 9, 10 year olds
Yeah.
that they read Harry Potter. In fact, one of them was like, "Oh yeah, I just read The Hunger Games. Can I read your book?" And I'm like, "Yeah, if you read The
Well,
Hunger Games, you're okay."
yeah.
Yes, you know. And it's always shocking when I meet people like that where
Mm,
they've already been down a pretty dark book path. So I'm like, oh no, mine's probably gonna feel light compared to that. So
yeah.
yeah, at least the first one. Now the second one does get grittier, but I try to keep a little bit of that one. It's fun and whimsical and cozy all mixed into with it.
Yeah.
So it's got a little bit of that extra fun fantasy vibe in there. I think it's a little more poetic to kind of trickle in food and steaks and cinnamon rolls and pie, whatever it is you have in
Yeah.
there that kind of brings
All
that
the spice. All the spice.
all the spice and the cozy. Yeah, let's put a little in there. Because I mean, to me, if you only have the dark part, it's fun for a
Yeah.
while, but sometimes it overwhelms you. And so I try to blend it in with some flavor that doesn't feel like it's just purely one taste. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I don't know. Variety is the spice of life, right?
How many puns are we gonna get going?
So the second book in Gwen's trilogy, in Gwen's world, did that pick up straight after the end of the Electric Moon, or is there a bit of a time gap, or how does that work?
Yeah, man, how much do I want to spoil here? So there's a pretty heavy scene right at the beginning that takes off right after the first book. And the first book is a little bit
Okay.
of a cliffhanger. I've been told it's a big cliffhanger. I don't know. All my betas said to end it where I ended it. And so I
Mm,
was like, okay, kind of listened to him on that because there were some different areas I was tempted to end it at two or three other areas. I just didn't feel like it was right. And so I ended off this cliffhanger. She's literally staring at in a vision at her mom, and I won't ruin any more than that. And it's kind of just like, oh wow, where does this go? And so the next scene does get a little bit darker just out of the gate. And so what I was like, I actually wrote a prologue to kind of buffer that. So, and it's a pretty cool prologue. People like it. And so that's kind of where it'll end up. It'll basically take off back to back. There's not going to be like a huge time gap or anything other than, you know, me releasing books, but
Okay, and I also, like I mentioned, I picked up both available books. I picked up Nakira's Last Stand. Now, obviously, yes, the title does suggest, quite a big end. But is that sort of just a one and done? Do you have more planned for that world, or is that set in Gwen's world as well? Just because I bought the books, I haven't read them. I'm very interested to find out.
so no, they're the same world or same universe. Sorry. I don't want to say the same world. So Nakiri, this whole story, this is one of what I think will be 5 books, just basing it off of
Okay.
how I wrote it. She's basically she's her own thing. I don't want to, man, I could spoil so much so easy. I don't want to spoil where she comes into Gwen's kingdom because it's just not it's not ready. But there's some crossovers that I know, Jay, you'll know immediately. Like this blade right here on the front of both, these
Mm-hmm.
are the same blade. You know, things like that. The G Moon, the electric moon out here on the front, that's based off of my system, which comes from the G. Uh, Electricity in the future here on Gwen's Kingdom does not work anymore. When the G Moon
Ooh.
hit, it destroyed the grid and everything, and so everything goes to this power called the G. XIG. And so the world's kind of rediscovering how that works. It's symbol based. And so like they're trying to discover that and everything else. In Nakiri, that's already kind of established in a lot of worlds. She's over 7 different planets with 2 G moons. And she already kind of knows like what the G is, how it works, and they're already using it for like shields and to make cars and vehicles run and things like that. And so they already have the G power already built into their technology. And that's why I say this one has a little bit of sci-fi trickled in because you're gonna feel like that futuristic sci-fi
Mm-hmm.
thing is in the mix. But no, it'll be its own thing. Hopefully over the 4 or 5, maybe 6 books if I really get good at just building the world and making it what I want. I might be able to get it 6 books or 7, but I'm thinking 5 just right now, how the way I mapped it. There'll be a good story and then it'll arc together and hopefully it'll feel good and natural and kind of become what it was originally,
Yeah.
so to speak. Because I did pull it out of Gwen's Kingdom to make it what it is, and I'm growing it um, kind
Mm-hmm.
of into its own thing too. But it's funny, man. People love Nakiri's Last Stand when they go out and buy it, and then usually hit me up on a message. Hey, I'm reading your book. I love it. It's really good.
Yeah.
And it kind of always blows my mind that people want that faster instant
Yeah.
read where they have tons of action. It doesn't take them long to get the book
Yeah.
done. You know, it's a couple hours a read or so. So
Well,
that's kind of always, it always blows my mind how many people like, they'll go for that book. And I've been selling out of that book more than I am
yeah.
Wind's Kingdom. It's a
Yeah.
fast read, which
Well,
is kind of
it is
weird.
punchy, and that's me. Like my mind has always moved at 100 miles an hour before social media came along. So like I need things to keep happening because my mind will wander, and I'll go, "That's a good idea
Oh
for a
yeah.
story," and then I'll stop reading it, and then I'll go off and start working
Yeah.
on something. So I like punchy, I like short. I think for a lot of the bigger ones, I'll start. I got to get Audible and start doing some audio books because I have a 40-minute
Yeah.
commute to work. So um,
Oh, dude. Yeah. That's a long drive. I've
yeah,
done that. It's a great audiobook commute though. I've
yeah,
I've had almost a 50-minute commute and yeah, I knocked out some audiobooks doing that. So
yeah,
you're right though. And if you don't have time to read, a lot of people don't have time. That's the
yeah,
biggest thing. It's not that they don't want to. Adults, man, I'd love to
yeah,
sit down and read. Like I'd read the Lord of the Rings, if I
yeah,
had time right now. But I don't. So it's
yeah,
like a 2 hour read is really attractive.
yeah,
So yeah, it, like Ancora, I read Ancora in probably a couple hours or so. And I
yeah,
remember like I enjoyed it. It was
yeah,
easy, it was fast, punchy. I'm like, yeah,
yeah,
so much fun. So I
yeah,
get it. There are people though who I've had message me and tell me like I want more story.
yeah.
So they're like, where's the character development? I'm like,
That's
next
Ryan.
next book, bro.
Yeah,
That's me. If I love a world that's created, like I did with Ancora, I will be like, okay, I need more. I can't
Yeah,
just have this, and luckily, I got to read the prequel I Destined before it came out, and I was like, okay, that's awesome. I want more. And I'm that kind of person. Like I will bug authors,
yeah,
say, hey, have you got any plans for the next? Like I do it to. I think I messaged Janelle Schiecke after I read The Clatterman. I was like, okay, when's the sequel coming out? And she said,
yeah,
well, I've just started working on it. I'm like, okay, cool, cool. But yeah, if I love a world, I will happily stay in that world for as long as I possibly can. So,
it's awesome. I love that. Now I just bought 100 ISBNs. I know, and I don't know if you guys buy them down there, but
yeah,
I just bought 100 because it takes 3 just to write a normal book. You got hardcover,
yeah,
softcover, ebook. And then if I'm breaking these up into volumes, that's 9 ISBNs per
yeah,
book. And so I'm committed.
yeah,
It's like $600 for 100. So I'm like, okay, I'm not giving up on this. I'm definitely going through with the writing. So to anyone out there asking if I'm seriously taking this serious or if I'm going to George R. R. Martin them, no, I'm taking it serious. I really do
yeah,
want to see this through. I
yeah,
want to I want to have a full series. I've got a huge world to share. I've actually been holding back, so it's really hard. And I'm sure you see some of that when I'm
yeah,
talking. It's easy to spill too much, but at the same time, I do see people that want it, like you. You
Yeah,
just said right there that you want more. I see that, and man,
Mhm.
that makes an author's day to
yeah,
hear someone say, "I want more of your world. Show me what you
yeah,
got. I want to get into it." It really does. It's author fuel to make me want to go write a book. So
yeah.
I love it when people say that.
Yeah.
But
I love it and hate it because
Awesome.
I got to find time for it. I'm working on a
yeah.
short story right now for an anthology. Can't say too much about it, but
Ooh.
and
Ooh. Is it in your
mysterious.
universe?
Hey, no, I'm when I do short stories, I like to try something I've never done before. So I'm trying something I've never done
Okay.
before. Um,
I didn't do
so
that. I
it's
mine's in my universe.
yeah, it's very mine's very Australian. You know, I figured
That's crazy. Okay.
most people like the Emu War. They won't shut up about it. Went, well, I'll do something like that. Um, but
I
yeah,
haven't. I think about that book. I don't have it yet. I want to read
yeah,
that one. But
Have-
first, I want to read I Destin because
it's a
and
prequel.
Core was good. I love that book.
Well,
And
I
do
Destin's
you?
longer.
I know. It's on my TBR for the year actually. Did you market this as YA? Because I've never seen you use the term YA, but
No,
it definitely
I've
felt like it was YA.
I think it's just natural because I write pretty clean. I mean, some of my stuff, like you probably know in Ancora, is pretty dark. There are some dark elements to it, but it's not like violent or graphic or anything like that. It's just like
No.
the themes are pretty full on. But I,
Mhm.
I, I, I don't think about any of that stuff. I just write down. I sit down and I write a story, and then people will
Mhm.
usually tell
Yeah.
me. Like I didn't think about it as YA until Amy Cormack left a review on Goodreads and said, "Oh, it's a good YA," and I'm like, "Well, I guess it's YA." You know,
Okay.
it's
I
just
didn't know. Like when I read it, I totally expected it to be more adult, just because it
yeah,
doesn't say.
yeah,
And so when I was reading it, like somewhere in the middle, I was like, this is really good and clean. Like this is a
yeah,
good clean book. Like
yeah,
that's rare. I think I've read two clean books in 2025 out of the 18 or whatever I read. And I was like, man, like that I would consider YA clean.
yeah,
So yeah, I was shocked. I love that.
yeah. Well, I guess yeah, I guess it's YA. I know. Look, I hate writing romance. I hate it, but a lot of my books it needs it. It needs it. So there's romance in I
Yeah.
Destin, and then there's I think there's a
Okay.
closed door love scene. Um, not you know they're getting it on but you don't you, it's like you don't get all the
Okay.
details and again that had to be in it because this is like the rebel from 200 years ago. He has children, so it's gotta
Yeah.
happen. But yeah, I
There's
just
a there's a there's a love interest in this one that's kind of fun.
mm,
I won't run anything. It's not spicy. It's just there's a certain person in there that it does like they have an attraction to Gwen, and it's funny because it annoys her.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that I've never written anything like that, so it's really funny, like the
yeah,
way it kind of annoys her. She's like doesn't know what to
just
do with it. She's like, I'm
yeah,
not focused. I want to save the world. Shut up.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's what I like.
Isn't that how like we all? Isn't that how we all like get married and stuff? We just find someone, annoy them, and they're just like, okay, you've annoyed me enough. I kind of like you now. I mean, that's how
Yeah,
I did it, but
yeah.
you know,
That's not funny.
that's just the way of the world.
You just poke people. Yeah, no, that's what I like because what I really liked about the Horizon Zero Dawn game, at least the first one, is there was no time for romance. You're there to save the world, and they had
Mhm.
love interests. They had people that are like, oh, I really like you, but like she's like, I'm focused, and
Yeah,
that's what I really like, because like
yeah.
yeah, it's just it makes more sense.
That's cool. Yeah. Oh, it's fun to write that way too, because Gwen's Kingdom has a little bit of comedy trickled throughout it.
Mm,
I don't. Some people laugh, some people don't. Comedy's hard to write because you have so many variations of like what people think is funny,
yeah,
and so it's funny because there's like two or three scenes where I get people writing me and they're like, "Oh my God, this is hilarious,"
yeah,
and then other people never say two words, so I don't know if it just doesn't hit or if they laughed to themselves or whatever. And so, like to me, it's funny, like the love
yeah,
interest, because you do get, that exact thing where she's like, "Hey, I don't have time to like even think about this."
yeah,
And it's just you could tell like it kind of just annoys her and rubs her wrong. So
yeah,
it was fun to write that.
yeah.
It's definitely not spicy though. There
you,
was
you you need to
no
put
spice.
you need to put a spice seller in your next book. Get your spices,
Yeah,
get your spice.
no spice, just cinnamon.
And then you have another seller. Hi, do you sell spice? No spice.
That's so funny.
And then you can have the spice Nazi like from Seinfeld. No spice for you.
No, no, that's so funny. That is hilarious. I'd love to do like some kind of pun on there. I don't
Yeah.
know. I may think of something to do and throw that in there. There's one item in the new book that I had a beta come back and say something. It's this launcher. It's like a hook launcher thing where
Mm.
Shelley, it's she basically uses it to shoot out, and it has a iron rope on it, and it sticks to things, right? So and it pulls back. And so he sent me, he's like, you totally put the scorpion hook in there from Mortal Kombat. And he's like, you got to get her to say, get over here in one of her books. I was like, oh my God, that's so
Yes.
brilliant.
Yeah.
I don't know how in trouble you could get for a catchphrase like that, but it's
Well,
tempting.
I think you could get away with it. I mean, yeah, like bringing it back to film, we had some filmmakers on recently, who made a movie called ZombieCon, and it was basically
Oh, yeah.
cosplayers where they start the zombie apocalypse essentially, but they're all cosplaying, and you can they don't look
Really?
you they don't look exactly like who they're
Mhm.
cosplaying, but enough for you to go, that's Star-Lord. That's
Oh,
and
really?
they can get away with it without the copyright stuff. So
Yeah. I don't know. I'd hate to get like in trouble for it
yeah,
because I mean, I don't know. Some companies don't care. They like that promotional like
yeah,
kind of confluence anyway. And then others are like, "Oh no, you stole from us," and
yeah, yeah,
like this one put the bug to you, and they're like, yeah, I don't know which way to go."
yeah,
That's it'd be fun to put something, in there that had a reference like that if I could, where it wasn't just too blatant.
yeah.
And I don't know, I'll think about it, but
Well,
at the end of the day, it is scary.
yeah. I put in my Emu War book, because there's newspaper articles. I had to fill out the newspaper, with just random crap, and I put the Pina Colada
Okay,
song in there, but it was like I changed the words but kept the rhythm the same.
okay,
and and I had
that's cool.
someone from work, my work, who just read it, and he said he knew straight away it was that, but it wasn't like, hey, do you like, but it's obvious enough that you can
That's funny.
tell what I was doing, but
That's good. That's good writing though. That's good.
yeah,
I mean, you parodied it.
yeah,
So I love that. And the other thing too is like, I don't know. I think if you write a parody, and you come up and you're upfront about like this is a parody, I
yeah,
think that legally has a more like strength to kind of have
yeah,
leeway in a court where a
yeah,
judge is probably gonna be like, yeah, it's a joke, dude.
yeah,
You know, where I don't know. Me literally using the term "get over here" probably isn't even. I don't know if you could even copyright. Can you copyright a phrase that's small and
No,
generic?
I don't think so. I think
no,
it's more. No, not at all.
yeah,
It's really not. Like that seems like it'd be. Well, I know the hook and everything,
yeah,
but it might not be. It's still, I feel like it'd probably be loose enough, and not.
yeah,
It's just a throwback to like gamers and stuff.
yeah,
That's
Yeah,
all it would be.
I think it's a
So,
nostalgia thing. Like, I jokingly say at the start of every episode that I own the term "living the dream," but I clearly don't. But you know what I mean? Like,
right.
you can't own a phrase. I don't think if it doesn't have any names or any descriptive places or anything. It's just the words "get over here." I think you'd be fine.
Yeah.
so I did hear somewhere that Matthew McConaughey is trademarking all right, all right, all right.
Yeah, he would. He would.
Which was
What?
weird because I did some video editing a few months back for high school football, over in America, um and it was from Texas, and nearly I lost count of the amount of times that the camera went past people and they were like, all right, all right, all right, all right, it's just like it's a Texas thing.
Oh my God, he did. I just Googled it.
Did you
It says
Google
he
it?
secured. He. Oh my God, he secured 8 trademarks for the client phrase. What?
That's
Yeah,
so
like
random.
that's so weird. Why would you do that? People will hate you if you do that. Like, don't do that.
it,
That's not
it,
right.
I
it just
can just
means,
I just
yeah.
have this image of Matthew McConaughey popping up every time someone says all right, all right, all right. He's like, that's $5. just with his hand, and then he disappears.
Yeah.
Summoning. That's how you summon Matthew McConaughey. You stare into a mirror and say, "All right, all right, all right," 4 times.
If you say all right 3 times, like if you say all right 3 times, it's like Beetlejuice.
It
Yeah.
does say he did it to prevent unauthorized artificial intelligence AI from deep
All
fakes
right.
and voice cloning.
Okay, there
So
you
I
go.
guess he's not doing it probably to like slap someone upside the head in a book or something like that. He's
Yeah.
probably doing it to protect himself in AI, which
Yeah.
I kind of respect
Yeah.
that if that's true. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's true. That's Google AI said that. So
Yeah. So AI told you that. Yeah.
yeah, take it with a grain of AI salt.
Yeah. AI spice. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the fun part where it's or the fun part before the fun part. What's some
Okay.
advice you'd like to give writers out there, or something that you've learnt along the way on your writing journey that you feel is really valuable?
Oh man, there's a lot of advice I could give. Um, I'd say just stick with your personal vision. Here's what I'm gonna say. Write to the people who love your story. It can take you a lot of time to find those people, but they're the ones you should write for. If you're writing to just appease critics, it's gonna make you miserable. And there's always gonna be critics who hate your work or don't like it or just don't like parts of your work and say, "Oh, well, this is wrong because of this. This is bad because of this," and they'll pick it apart. And those aren't your audience. They're not the people that are going to buy the next 10 books.
Yeah.
They're people who came, they're going to leave a crappy review, they're going to say I didn't like it, and they're going to leave. Don't write for them. Don't even think twice about that. Those aren't the people who love your books. They're not your readers. Don't pay attention to it. Take what little advice you can to learn from it because most of it's going to be pretty empty anyway. It's just somebody that didn't like your genre, didn't like the way you wrote, didn't like the perspective, didn't like the tense, whatever.
Yeah.
Take it with a grain of salt, but find those people who genuinely love your book and get them as betas. Hook into them because they're the ones that are going to buy the next 10 books. They're the ones that are going to love your story. They already love what you wrote. They're going to want more of it. Those are the ones you're writing for, and keep that in mind because a lot of people get disheartened with critics. I get messages from authors a lot where people are sending or saying something negative about their book or they're saying
Yeah.
something bad about the book. And I'm like, dude, you have 30, 40, 50 reviews out there that are 5-star reviews. People rave about your book.
Yeah.
You're worried about this one person. He's like, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't feel like writing anymore. And I'm like, no, don't do that. That's so destructive mentally as an author. And we all do it. We all have like this, I call it like the author kind of self-confidence flaw where we
Yeah.
just have like a down. Like I don't know why, but I think every author goes through these periods of just emotional lows where we hate our work, we feel like we're crappy, we're authors, nothing's good. Everyone does that.
Yeah.
But when you do get kicked with something crappy, because it does happen, I think to everybody who writes, look at the look at the 98% that's good or whatever it is, 95, whatever it is. Look at those and look at the guys that
Yeah.
really just they genuinely love your stuff
Yeah.
and focus on that. That is the biggest, most important thing that's going to keep you dry. Because when you read those positive reviews and realize somebody sat there for 8, 10, 12 hours reading my book and they took time to go sit down and tell me, not even me, they're just telling other people,
Yeah.
this is a good book. Go read it. And that really, like, if you think about that, that's a big important thing that happens to an author that I think we overlook, and we focus on
Yeah.
those little zits that pop up where it's like a tiny blemish on this huge, beautiful face, and we
Yeah.
got to focus on the rest of the face sometimes. So that's my advice to authors. It is so easy to get down. Don't focus on the negative people. There's too much toxic negativity out there, and there are people who are just going to be critical. They just
Yeah.
want it, like they are Simon Cowell's and guising critical advice or critical comments basically guised as being honest. And it's not
Yeah.
true. They're just
Yeah.
trying to nitpick and come up with reasons not to like your work.
Yeah.
That's out there. And a lot of it is out there. And so don't get hung up on it. It's super easy to get hung up on it, but don't do it. It's not worth it. So to me, that's my advice because you will experience this as an author, no matter who you are. Good, even if you're freaking J.R. Tolkien. Go
Yeah.
look at J.R. Tolkien's 1-star reviews on Lord of the Rings. And you'll be like, holy crap, there's like 50,000 1-star reviews for people like, I hate this prose. I can't stand this guy. And it's like, oh God, he's one of the best authors of the last 100 years. And
Yeah.
people are ripping him a new one on
Yeah.
Goodreads. It's like crazy.
Yeah.
So anyway,
And
that'll
if
wrap that up.
if you follow those reviews, you follow those reviewers and they'll take you to Rings of Power and they'll go like 10 stars. You know, you know.
Oh my God, no. Yeah, you're probably right. You're
Yeah,
probably right.
it's usually the way. Yeah.
And it sometimes you get a misread too on it. I mean, there's
Mm.
people out there that they just genuinely didn't enjoy the book.
Yeah.
Like I had a 3 star in Akiri the other day, and I know who it was. I spoke with the guy for like 20 minutes because he kept on
Mm.
going on about Red Rising. And
Yeah.
he's like, "Is your book like Red Rising?" And I was like, "Man, I've never read Red Rising. I don't know." And he eventually he said, "I'm gonna go read it for free on Kindle Unlimited," and he
Yeah.
did. He gave it 3 stars. He gave it a shot. I still appreciate the crap out of the guy
Yeah.
for giving it a shot. And so I went on his Goodreads just to see what else he read. And sure enough, Red Rising's 5 stars, and then Hail Mary's like 2 stars, and he had
Yeah.
like one or two other
Mhm.
books. And I'm like, hey, I'm actually coming out pretty unscathed
Yeah.
compared to
Yeah.
like some of these other books, so I'm okay with that.
Mm. Yeah.
So you just never know though. You're gonna get
Yeah.
some mismatched readers who
Yep.
they don't know, and you don't know. Like, yeah, I don't know all the books I'm getting, comp to. So
Yeah.
sometimes you run into that. So it just happens. That
Yeah.
you can't let it get it down, and you can't let it get you down. You got to
Yeah.
realize your stuff's your own thing. So
Excellent. Well, it's time for story pitch, my friend.
I don't know. You
It's
sure?
oh, it is. It's the fun game. Have you seen
Okay.
these? Have you seen these floating around? I
I
gotta find the
I don't
graphic.
have a I don't have visual on anything, so you're gonna have to
No,
tell
it's all
me.
right. Well, I'm still gonna put it on the screen for the audience or our
Okay.
listeners. So the game is called Story Pitch. What we have is a setting, a genre, a main character's profession, and a crazy addition. You're going to give us a number between 1 and 12 for each of these categories. Me and Ryan are going to tell you what they are because on our hidden graphs, and then you're going to pitch us a story. It can be as in depth or not in depth as you'd like. Um,
All right.
so when you're ready, four numbers between 1 and 12.
All right, let's go 7,
Mm-hmm.
11,
Yeah.
and 7,
7. Yeah.
and then 5.
5. I thought you were going to go 7-11, 7-11.
That'd be kind of cool. Hey, I'll go 7. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
7, 11,
okay.
7, 5.
7-5. Okay, cool.
No reason.
So your setting is a haunted house.
Okay. Hmm. A mansion.
Your genre is steampunk.
Mm.
Okay.
Your main character is a 5 times martial arts world champion, aka Chuck Norris.
5 times martial arts
And
world champion.
your crazy addition, which is something or someone that has to appear in the story, even if it's just for a few seconds, is Bigfoot.
Bigfoot. I got
Yeah.
Bigfoot.
Yep, you
Oh,
did.
this is awesome.
So your
Okay.
genre is steampunk. Your setting is a haunted house. It's got to have a 5 times martial arts world champion
Okay.
as your main character, and Bigfoot's got to turn up.
Okay. Man. Okay. Ooh. I didn't expect to roll such odd things, but I love it. Can I make it Chuck Norris? Because that is really
Yeah,
tempting.
yeah, no, you can. Like he literally is Chuck Norris
All right.
because
Picture this.
he is a 5 times world champion.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Steampunk. I'm gonna have to totally figure out the steampunk thing. I'm not used to writing steampunk. Okay, so Chuck Norris walks up on this haunted castle. It's layered and tiered and pointy towers and staircases, and it's mystical, and in the fog you can barely see the puffing engines of the steampunk cannons flaring out over the atmosphere. And so he's walking slowly and he hears a howl. And it's a loud, squealy howl. And what is it called in Australia? Yahweh? Is that what you guys call it? Your
Yowie
Bigfoot?
is Bigfoot.
Yowie? Yowie. Okay.
Yeah.
Yowie. He hears a Yowie or Bigfoot. And he's like, man, it's squatchy. And he knows he's going to have to duel because he can't get to the castle unless he fights this big giant Sasquatch. And that's this whole haunted lore is this mystical Sasquatch lives in the woods just outside this castle. And this haunted castle, I should say. And so he's walking, he's listening, and he hears the puffs of the steam engines puffing off. And the train's getting ready to go. and all this big, giant, misty fog is blinding him. And all of a sudden, he comes up, and there's a Sasquatch in front of his face. And Sasquatch says, "Sir, I'm a ghost, but we're supposed to fight." So, I hold on. I gotta get the character. And so he looks up and he goes, "Cowboy, do you know who I am? I'm Chuck Norris." Sasquatch is like, "Well, in that case, we're not going to fight." And he leaves. So Chuck Norris makes his way to the ghost castle. He makes his way to the ghost castle. Dang it, I can't go. He makes his way to the haunted steam engine castle, and I'm going to wrap it up right there because he lives on happily ever after.
With this Chuck Norris.
I can't do anymore. I'm going to laugh my butt off.
The ghosts leave because of Chuck Norris.
Okay, well, that's enough. I can't do anymore without laughing. It's too
I
funny.
like it. That was very good. Very good. I'm invested.
I'm in tears.
I'm invested.
Yeah,
I'm invested.
We're invested. That's got to be your next.
I need the rest of the story.
Gwen's Kingdom, the haunted, the haunted castle, and Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
The Ghost Squatch.
Ghost Squatch. Yeah.
Ghost Squatch. Gwen's Kingdom Ghost Squatch.
Yeah.
Man, I hope one day I get big enough to someone makes a fan based book on that. That'd be so funny.
Fan fiction, that'd be great.
Yeah. Yes. Or fan fiction, yeah. Man, that'd be so funny. I love it.
Well, sorry, my friend, but this round 2. It's a different graph.
What's round 2?
It's a different graph. So you can give us the same numbers, it'll be a different result, or you can give us new numbers. It's up to you.
Let's do 7-11, 7-11.
Oh, 7-11. 7-11.
Well, although I will be honest, the squash was pretty hot. I like doing that.
Okay.
I like Ghost Squatch.
Your setting is a moon base.
A moon base?
Yeah.
Okay.
And your genre is furry sleuths, like anthropomorphic animals, like animorphs, that kind of thing.
Furries.
No, like more like
humans that can turn into animals.
No. Anthropomorphic, as in the sense of like Winnie the Pooh, Redwall, you know. They're
okay.
Humanoid animals. Zootopia, should we say? It would be another one.
All right.
Like
okay.
your main character is a sommelier, a wine taster.
A wine taster?
Yeah.
What did you call him?
The official term is a sommelier. That's the official term. Sommelier.
How do you spell that?
SOMMELIER. But essentially, it's a wine taster. But you know,
you done learned me up on this. Never heard of that.
Yeah.
And your crazy edition, which is something or someone that must appear in the story, is a multiverse of Sherlock Holmeses.
Oh, what? Okay. So, do I get to pick what my anamorphic furry guy is?
Yeah. And anything you want. Anything you want.
Okay, so I love the Guardians of the Galaxy, so I'm gonna go with a raccoon. His name's gonna be Bandit, because I used to have a cat named Bandit, but it's also a good name for a raccoon. And let's see. Bandit is figuring out why the heck he's on the moon. Because he's on the moon. He's a raccoon, dude. So Bandit's walking, he's chilling, having a good day, doing, what raccoons do, munching on some trash. And so he's just chilling, figuring out, walking down the street, why is he on the moon? And he stops by and he asks this polite young they gotta be a bird. Birdman. Big Bird. He asks Big Bird what he can do to get off the moon. He's tired of this place, right? Big Bird says, "No, you like it here. You love it here. But be careful, because there is someone investigating just through the door here in this house. But on the other side of the house, there's a wine tasting." So Bandit says, "Okay, I love wine. I sometimes pull it out of the trash in little droplets out of the cups that I get. I find it. It's so delicious." And so he goes inside to check out this wine tasting, and there's sure enough, there's Sherlock Holmes. And he's standing there next to his partner, Sherlock Holmes. And so Sherlock Holmes are looking at him. "Why are you here? You went in the wrong door." And he goes, No, I didn't. I'm here for the wine. I'm a sommelier. guy.
Sommelier.
And so so he says, okay, well, go on through. This is the back. So they rush him out the back. Sure enough, though, he sees the wine table, right? And he says, okay, I'm gonna go have me some wine, taste some wine. And as he's walking, he makes sure to go around the back, the opposite way he came, so he doesn't get trapped by these Sherlock Holmeses, right? So, uh, unfortunately, he does stop to find another Sherlock Holmes is outside mowing the yard. And so he's like, well, this isn't right. Sherlock Holmes is inside solving a crime. There's peoples to be figured out in here and crimes to be had, and so or the other way around. And so he decides he's gonna walk around after trying his wine, but he can't. Something in his head's different. He's tripping on the wine. It's doing something weird to him. And so he starts walking towards the trash because he knows that's a good place to go. And so I don't know where to go with this story. I'm so lost. I have no directive on this. I feel like I'm pantsing in the wrong direction. Let's do this. So he finds the way off the base, but this is how he does it. He has to contact Sherlock Holmes, but the right Sherlock Holmes, in order to find the way to get off. And when he does, he doesn't make it because he finds a wine full of trash. I mean, a trash full of wine. There you go.
There you go.
Excellent. I mean, in your defense, it was a very, very hard one. Like, there's nothing connected to each other. Like, usually we get one or two things that connect to each other, but absolutely nothing connected to that.
Yeah.
I feel like my little bandit is going to get stuck on the moon eating trash and drinking wine and trying to figure out why Sherlock Holmes isn't where.
Maybe the trash panda's got ADHD and he keeps getting distracted by every trash can he sees. He's like, oh, trash can. Oh, trash can.
I like that. If I had a few more minutes, I could probably pants out something better. But
maybe it ends with the moon becoming electric, you know.
Oh, yes. Yes. Not a bad ending at all. See, the moon could be electric, and all of a sudden I have trash pandas in my book. Yeah, I like this.
Awesome.
Go squatch and get trash pandas.
That's it. Thanks for joining us, Brian. It's been an absolute blast.
I loved it.
If you want to read a book with trash pandas in it, Ben Schenkman has a good book out that I read a couple of months ago with a talking animal sidekick, and he's a raccoon, a trash panda.
Oh, really? That's too funny.
Yeah.
Oh man, I do like Guardians of the Galaxy. That was a great movie. So I always like Rocket. So
that was
awesome,
Marvel's biggest gamble too.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Well, they didn't. It was an obscure comic book. They didn't know what it was going to do, and it was the movie that was going to tie in Thanos and you know everything. You know, so if that movie flopped,
James Gunn did a good job on it.
It was James Gunn, and I don't think I've seen a bad James Gunn movie yet. Even some of his older horror stuff was absolutely great. So I once I heard James Gunn was doing it, I was like, yeah.
I thought he did a great job. He did with what he did on, like you're saying, it was obscure. I'd never heard of it. Like I'd never read the comic at all. So I was shocked when I went and watched it. I was like, it'd be okay. I loved it. It was one of my favorite movies out of the whole Marvel.
Yeah, 100%.
Phase 1 or whatever you want to call it now. Yeah. So. Well, anyways, guys, my new book will be out on the 30th. Pre-orders are going to go live on Tuesday. I think that'll be, by the time this launches, it should be already passed. It should be live. So.
Yeah, well, this will drop first or second week of May. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. Then. Yeah, because Tuesday will be like the 28th, I think. So, be perfect.
Excellent. Well, let our audience know where they can follow you, stay up to date with what you're doing, and buy your books.
Yeah, definitely. So gwenskingdom.com is my link tree. I try to stay active on X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. I'm probably not as active on some of them as I should be. I'm real active on X lately. Threads as well. I try to get on there at least once or twice a day, if not 3 or 4, and just stay active, keep posting, try and get a decent amount of engagement so they don't punish you. But
yeah,
GwensKingdom.com. If you don't want to follow me on those, you can always just hit my highlights. I do have pages meant for like Gwyn's Kingdom only, and so you'll get less of my personal stuff and just more of that. And I have a newsletter, so I shoot out a newsletter about once a month, updates on where I'm going to be signing, when my books are coming out, if there's a pre-order or an ARC read available. Sometimes I'll throw those out there as well. So get on the newsletter if you're a fan and want to be possibly entered into an ARC drawing, or sometimes I'll get free copies of like audiobooks or something I can shoot out the codes for too. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Excellent. Well, guys, all the links will be down below in the show notes. Please check that out. Check out our sponsors, Rebecca Kearsells, Martin Kearns, our honorary sponsors, Janelle Schiecke and Alexander Robb. All the links are down below. If you want to join our Discord, where a lot of the magic's happening, reach out. We will shoot you the link, and you can join in on all the fun and help really craft the show into something really cool. And buy Ryan's shirt, his new shiny shirt.
Yeah.
And
buy the shirt.
And we have new mugs. I just made some mugs, so you can buy some mugs with our Dropbear on the front of it. All that's down below. So until next time, keep supporting those indie authors, and we'll catch you on the next episode.